Eskom says load shedding will alternate between stage 4, 3 and 2 this weekend. Well, we hope so, because things always change. As rolling blackouts continue, energy analyst David Lipschitz says he's concerned about the silence from the presidency and Eskom regarding a solution. He joins me now from Cape Town to chat about the ongoing power cuts. Thank you so much for your time, David. We appreciate it. I've just had a quick glance at my cell phone, and it seems as though Eskom will be briefing the nation tomorrow at around 11 o'clock. Many would say it's a little too late, given the ongoing power cuts that we have been experiencing over the past couple of months, never mind weeks.
Hello, Heidi. I don't think I've said exactly what you've said I've said. I think that it's a very complicated matter. And if the president cancelled his trip, we need to wait for him to make the announcement that we hope he'll make tomorrow or the next day. I have spoken to a few politicians in the past week of several political parties. Everybody's waiting with bated breath. There's a lot of action happening. And I think that we should expect that we will see change. And I think we just need to wait for it to happen. I don't think I can preempt anything that our president or Mantashe or any of the other government officials are going to say.
So it's not really about preempting, David, but there is an energy crisis in this country. And many would say that the silence from the presidency with the Eskom board and whoever else is in charge of sorting out this energy crisis, that silence is deafening, because the country is scrambling. It's in complete chaos. Businesses are struggling. Livelihoods have been impacted. And surely the fact that the president went out and announced that he's cancelling his engagements at the World Economic Forum in Davos should have been an indication that perhaps he has some kind of solution for us. Without preempting, and I don't want to put you in that position, but what should the president be doing instead of just cancelling his trips to or his engagements with world leaders?
For me, right now, the president is probably doing exactly what he needs to do. He needs to sit back, engage, go somewhere quiet, get all the people that need to be speaking to him, disengage from all media, all active, everything else, and just get the facts and find out for himself exactly what. If I was the president of South Africa or the chairman of a multinational company and I faced this crisis, which has been going on for years or decades, and I now needed to really make the leadership decisions that we need these people to make, then I would be sitting back for a week and deciding very carefully what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say, and I would lead. So what I really want in my heart is I want our president, Ramaphosa, and I want Mantashe, and I want our other leaders to lead us out of this mess that we find ourselves in. That is what I really want in my heart.
Do you think that this is solvable? Because we just heard from ANC Chair Gwede Mantashe, who's also the Minister of Mineral Resources and Energy, that Eskom needs to get to a position where it's providing its power stations can provide electricity at a 75% capacity and not at its current 49%. We have underperforming power stations, and we clearly need renewable energy to come in. Your views on this?
We need all types of, at the moment, we need all types of energy. At the moment, we need coal, gas, nuclear. I hate to say it. We need our nuclear power station right at the moment. We need everything. We have a big system. We need biodigesters. We need renewable energy of 10 different kinds. We need a very important mix of supply. We also need to make sure we're putting the right quality coal into our power stations and putting legislation in place, if necessary, to force our coal producers to not be allowed to export coal if our local coal power stations need that particular quality of coal. There's obviously 10 different multiple kinds of qualities of coal with different amounts of ash, different accounts of all kinds of combustible materials inside them. Each power station has a particular kind of grade coal it needs. We need to make sure that those power stations are receiving the coal they need. We need to make sure the power stations are receiving the supplies they need. We need to make sure that the army going to the power stations is one thing, but the supply lines have been corrupted. So we need the supply lines to be fixed. So there's a whole spread of things. Renewable energy the way it's been implemented now, in my opinion, is incorrect because it's centralized. It needs to be decentralized. So there's a whole lot of things happening. And, my feeling right now is that if Mr. Ramaphosa came back and made a promise, it would be just another promise of 100 promises. The fact that he's come back and he's sitting back and taking a week to get back to us, to get all the facts, put everything together, build a proper plan, for me, that gives me hope.
Sure. So you touched on something that I think perhaps I could just get your indulgence on. You said it's one thing to send the army to the power stations, and there have been calls for the army to be deployed to power stations and substations because of the sabotage and the vandalism and theft that we have been seeing. Do you think that's a wise decision?
No, I think, governance calls for defense of our borders. If our borders happen to be our power station borders, then obviously we need to make sure that what's going in and out is defensible. If the police and Eskom's own police force, I'm not sure what they call themselves, a security team, can't handle that, then they need to call the army for help. And as part of that help, they need to protect the supply lines. I'm not sure if that's normally the army's job, but if the police are overloaded in other parts of the country doing their job and there's a special requirement, then I think that the army can be called in for that kind of requirement. But I'm not a defense expert. You really need to be speaking to a defense expert about that.
Certainly. Thank you so much. I think this is a crisis, so all hands are needed at this stage. But we'll hear what happens come tomorrow when we understand that Eskom will be briefing. Thank you so much for your time. That was David Lipschitz with his views on the ongoing electricity crisis.